mine. His name is Ziad Abdelnour. And for those that don't know Ziad, let me explain to each and every one of you about this incredible, phenomenal man. Ziad Abdelnour is a Wall Street financier, author, activist, lobbyist, oil and gas trader, and president and CEO of Black Hawk Partners Incorporated, a New York-based private equity family office that focuses on originating, structuring, advising, and acting as an equity investor in management-led buyouts, strategic minority equity investments, equity private placements, consolidations, build-ups, and growth capital financing in companies and projects based both in the U.S. and emerging markets and the trading of key physical commodities. Since 1985, Mr. Aldenor has been involved in over 125 transactions worth an aggregate over $10 billion in the investment banking, high-yield bond, and distressed debt markets, and has been widely recognized for playing an intricate role in those three key market sectors. He is the best-selling author of his phenomenal book, Economic Warfare, Secrets of Wealth Creation in the Age of Welfare Politics, and that is an awesome, impressive resume. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome the one, the only, the powerful Ziad Abdelnour to the show.
How are you doing, Arthur?
Well, I'm doing great and it's getting better each and every single day. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
To everyone that's listening on this show, I highly recommend go and get your pen and your pad right now. My great friend Ziad Abdelnour is going to break down layman's terms on how to build wealth. Is that correct, Ziad?
Absolutely.
Now, what I'd like to know, and can you explain to the listeners in layman's terms, who is the phenomenal Ziad Abdelnour? How long you been in your powerful industry, and what is your expertise?
Well, number one, it's not a question of being phenomenal. High achievers always seek more, so you never reach the pinnacle. It's always going further. That's my philosophy in life. I'm never satisfied, always push the envelope for higher and higher grounds. It's all about empowering people. That's really the message. I'm not doing it for myself. Of course, I benefit from the process. I'm doing it to empower more people. The more people I empower, the more everybody benefits. It has got to be a win-win for all. It's not a zero-sum game. Unfortunately, a lot of people who reach the heights of power, for them it's a zero-sum game. They win, you lose. Can't do that. I learned this a long time ago, and it has to be a win-win for all. All winners think like this. And all losers try to get corners. This is my philosophy in life. And there's a lot to do. That's pretty much my short answer.
Now, I've seen a phenomenal video that you did, and you was talking about rebels with a cause and rebels without a cause. Can you explain that to the listeners so they fully understand? What exactly did you mean by rebels with a cause?
Rebels with a cause are people who have a purpose in life, and they are basically acting and moving towards that purpose. And these are the guys who succeed a lot because they have a purpose. They know where they're going. They have a path. Rebels without a cause self-destruct. They are loose cannon. They're going nowhere. They're pretty dangerous, and they can be very harmful. Big difference, huge difference. When you're moving towards a purpose, a goal, and when you're moving aimlessly in life. Unfortunately, a lot of people are moving in life. It's pretty much the rat race for them. They're running. Running for what? Towards what? Towards accomplishing what goal? Sometimes you have to stop and smell the roses and see really what's around you. Why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the purpose of your activities? Gives it meaning. You've got to have a strategy. That's the key. Without a strategy, you're going nowhere. That's exactly what I mean. And I'm pretty laser-like focused in what I do. From a professional point of view, personal point of view, for-profit organization, non-profit organization, you've got to be impactful. And to be impactful, you have to know what you're doing first. You have to know yourself. Look, if you really want to be master of the game, first you have to be master of yourself. Not master of people, master of yourself. If you're a master of yourself, things will be pretty good.
From your experience,
I'm gonna give you a lot to think this morning. You know, at the end of the day, it's a lot about philosophy and psychology. Very successful people are not, just born. They just go through very tough times. They learn from their failures, and they never break. They bend. They never break. As they say, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And they refine their purpose, as they go along. They fine-tune it, they refine it, and they work with the right people around them. It's all people's business. You've got to surround yourself with the best people, the positive. I stay away from negative people all the time. No matter how smart they are, no matter how rich they are, no matter how powerful they are, smart people who are negative will pull you down. And you don't need that. Life is too short.
So who you spend time with and who you listen to, that's who you're going to become.
Well, let me tell you something. You are the average of the 5 closest people who are to you in your life. So you better pick up your very close friends very carefully, because these are the people you interact with the most, and you become the average. So if they're really of a high caliber, they're gonna have a good impact on you. Learn a lot, and you learn from them, they learn from you. And if you spend your time with losers, you're gonna become a loser. It's people. It's all people. It's all about people. Whether I'm backing companies, I'm backing projects, I am building businesses, the first thing I look for is the people, their integrity, their purpose, their focus, their commitment, and that's pretty much it. All the rest will solve itself if you have the right people. At the end of the day, if I'm backing a company with top-notch management team, A team, with an okay, so-so kind of service or product, it's much better than a company with a so-so management team and with a great product. The product will not sell itself. It's all about execution. Who's going to execute? Who's behind it? Whether you're backing a project, an idea, a politician, anything. It applies everywhere. In the political sphere, in the business world. Who are those people? Have you done your homework? Have you done your due diligence? Do you really know them? Can you really read between the lines? Can you differentiate between the rhetoric and the real?
You are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Ziad, from your own experience, what do billionaires and millionaires do on a consistent, regular basis that unfortunately broke entrepreneurs just don't do?
I think number one, we work harder. Believe it or not, it's never enough. I mean, for me, I have no weekends. It's 24/7, weekends included. Not because I have to do it, but because I like doing it. I like doing what I'm doing. When people tell me, Ziad, when are you going to retire? I mean, for them, retire from what? Retire from having fun? I'm having a blast doing what I'm doing. Retire what? To go and play golf all day long? I'll be bored after 2 days. So I like what I'm doing, and I don't think I'll ever retire. It's not for the money. It's for the passion. It's for, the difference you're making. So number one, we work harder. Work with a passion. We're very passionate. Number two, we are a very good judge of people. You don't get there without really being a good judge of people, being able to size up people very quickly. Some of my colleagues, my partners tell me when it comes to sizing up people, it's like you're on steroids. I mean, you're so quick on that. Yes, I can read the bullshit 1,000 miles away. And there's so much bullshit out there. The real from the, bullshit. So I think a lot of people cannot, who don't get it there. Usually they don't get to the top because there's something that happened because of someone in their life that didn't allow them to get there. So people is extremely important. Third, in the wealth creation business and the business building business, in the deal business, the most important element, believe it or not, the element that really breaks all the deals, that breaks everything, all the trust, is ego. You have to manage your ego. A lot of people don't. They cannot. Their ego is out of control. What kills deals, what kills dreams is ego. It's good to have an ego, but it has to be channeled right. It cannot be misplaced ego. My father used to tell me all the time when I was growing up, be very arrogant with the mighty and powerful and be very nice with everybody else, which is exactly the reverse of what 99% of the people do. They're very arrogant with the simple, nice people, and they suck up to the mighty and the powerful.
Wow.
And this is why they don't get their respect. Because believe me, the mighty and the powerful, they don't respect everybody. You have to earn their respect. So they don't get their respect, and they end up, leading a miserable life. So you really have to play. Look, psychology, finance, building businesses, creating wealth is very much about psychology. How you understand people, how you understand situations, how you deal with them, how you manage your ego, how you manage your stress. A lot of people cannot manage their stress. They crumble under stress. They start taking drugs, alcohol. They start resorting to some crazy stuff, and then it affects their health, their well-being, their sound reasoning, their sound thinking, and that's what happens. Managing your stress, managing your ego, choosing the right people, working hard with integrity, having a purpose. It adds up. And all these things really, I don't think you learn these things in school, in college. Or even your parents or the principals will tell you this. They'll tell you maybe bits and pieces, but unless you've been through that yourself, unless you've absolutely experienced that, witnessed that, and failed, I failed much more than I succeeded. But people talk about my successes, but people don't know about the failures, the disappointments, the deceptions I had to go through, which made me stronger and learn to avoid. As long as you're learning from your mistakes, that's fine. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't learn. They keep doing the same mistake again and again and again. It becomes a bad habit. And you know what? It's very difficult to change bad habits, but you have to really make the extra effort to change them. Because once you're on the right track with good habits, it keeps there. It becomes a routine. It becomes like you wake up every day, you have to brush your teeth, you have to take a shower, you have to do this and that. Well, the same thing. When you stop practicing these good habits, you fall into the bad habits, and which becomes a cycle, an irreversible cycle, which becomes very self-destructive. And here you go. And you're in a tough situation. Money-wise, personal-wise, relationship-wise, business-wise, everything.
Wow. This is an incredible interview, and I appreciate you coming on my show today.
No problem.
Ziad, can you explain to the listeners what is the best advice that you have ever received?
Well, be true to yourself. Be yourself. A lot of people live their lives, they're not true to themselves. They want to be somebody else, so there's a lot of lying and cheating and posing for this and that. Be yourself, because you can only excel if you fully use your DNA. You know, each one of us is born with a certain DNA, with certain qualities and certain defaults. No one is perfect. No one. Everybody has qualities. Everybody has defaults, failings, whatever. So you're gonna have to basically know your qualities best, and excel using your qualities. Not trying to figure out how to improve your failings. That's important too. But mostly you really have to. Each one of us is dealt with a certain number of cards. Aces, kings, etc. You have to use your cards to the best. These are the cards I was born with. I'm dealt with. I'm going to use them to the maximum. So you have to be yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Even if you're going to create along the way some enemies, if you don't stand, like Winston Churchill used to say, if you don't stand for anything in life, you know what? You're not going to have enemies, but who cares? At the end of the day, you have to be impactful. You're going to have enemies no matter what you do, no matter what you say, and you're going to have friends. You just hope that your friends are going to be much more than your enemies, and your enemies will respect you and understand what you stand for, even if they disagree with you. At the end of the day, if two people agree on everything, one of them is not needed.
You are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Ziad, what was the epiphany for you to build your own wealth for you and your family?
Well, money is not about acquiring things. It's not about, I got a new car, fancy car, or a house, or a plane, or a yacht, or some material things. No. If you want to acquire money because of that, you're not going to acquire much money, and it has no purpose. Remember the purpose thing we talked about before. Money is about freedom. Money for me is about freedom. The more money you acquire, the freer you're going to become. The more you're going to become an independent thinker, and you will not have to take crap from no one. When you have money, you don't have to take crap from no one. No boss, no this, no that. You're free to do and think whatever you want. And you reach a point whereby you have perfected yourself, you're a free thinker, and now you're going to start to teach other people how to get there. And how to be like this. There's nothing more important than freedom. Nothing. And it's not easy to become free, because if you don't have the money, you're subject to, this group, this path, this ideology. Sometimes you're stuck in a relationship which you cannot get out of because you don't have the money to get out of. Sometimes you're stuck in a business, in a company, in a job which you hate, you literally hate, but you cannot leave that job because they're paying you a paycheck, and you need that paycheck to pay the bills for yourself, your family. So you're stuck. You have shackles. To liberate yourself from the shackles, whether, sometimes shackles in your mind, imaginary shackles, sometimes for real. You really have to acquire wealth. So for me, really acquiring wealth is about freedom. I'm a very opinionated guy. I'm a very independent guy, and I like my freedom. And this is really an incentive for me to do that.
So your brain can be your worst enemy in regards to building wealth.
I'm sorry, repeat that. I couldn't hear it.
Your brain can be your worst enemy in regards to building wealth?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. The way you think. the way you think, your attitude. Look, like they say, success is 90% attitude, and hard work is attitude. It's not, attitude, look, I'm not saying, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, okay? Arrogance is bad. Confidence is good. Be confident. Learn. Swallow your ego. Manage your ego. Manage your stress. Understand people. Put yourself in their shoes. Make it a win-win situation. Stay away from negative people. It's an attitude. It's a philosophy. Build your own philosophy in life. Have a purpose. A lot of people don't do any of what I'm telling you right now. And then they wonder why they're stuck in their job, why they're stuck in a relationship, why they're stuck in a position here and there. Well, because they're not doing anything. They don't know where they're going. They're not making any effort about it. Things don't happen just by themselves. Things don't happen because they went to church and they prayed Jesus Christ for things to change. And then, it still didn't change. Well, it's not. Jesus Christ is not going to deal with that. You're going to have to help yourself. You're going to have to sit down, start on a clean slate, turn the page. No, this is a new white page, no chapter. I want to be like this. I'm going to work towards that. I'm going to better choose my friends, my inner circle, my people. I want to focus what I'm going to do. It's all attitude. It's your brain, yes. It's the brain, yes. Things don't happen like that. There's no coincidence or accident. Yes, I believe in luck to a certain extent, coincidence to a certain extent, but it doesn't shape your life. Luck helps. If you're ready and prepared and you have luck on top of it, awesome. But you should not rely on that or rely on some outside force that's going to come and rescue you. Like all these guys now who vote for the government, they rely on the government to really bail them out. They rely on the government to find them jobs. They rely on the government. You cannot rely on people. Each one of us should be self-reliant because at the end of the day, nobody cares about you. But you have to really, a lot of people care about you, but not the way you should care about yourself. If you care and take care of yourself, things will be great. A lot of people rely on handouts. You can't rely on handouts and help and support. And they become envious or jealous of the people who made it. It's like, why? It's like they want to pull them down so that they're all the same. Well, you know what? I don't believe in equality. It doesn't exist. It's only in your mind. People are not born equal, don't live equal, and don't die equal. Not everybody can go, for example, and live on Fifth Avenue and drive a Bentley because there isn't enough room for that. Very simple. There's enough room for 7 billion people to live like that, So at the end of the day, it is a meritocracy, May the best win. Yes, Charles Darwin, survival of the fittest. Yes, meritocracy. And you know what? It's good. And you know what? No matter who you think you are, there's always somebody who's going to be smarter than you, more handsome than you, more powerful than you, richer than you. So you can't go and be bitter about it. My life. No, you can't compare yourself to people. You have to compare yourself to your own self. Where was I a year ago? I'm much better off now. Where was I 5 years ago? I'm much better off now. I'm going in the right direction. All these guys who are more successful than you, richer, more powerful, don't be envious from them. Try to get closer to them. Learn from them. Be in their circle. You remember what I told you? You are the average of your 5 closest friends. So if you have as friends now 5 super successful, nice, friendly billionaires, think about how successful you're going to be and how the impact is going to have on you versus going with 5 losers around you and then bitching and moaning about the guys who made it. And that's the problem we have in this country today. You have the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots, not all of them, but a big part of them, are bitching and moaning about the haves and want to bring the haves down. If you bring the haves down, you will never have an opportunity to be part of that group because you have brought everybody down. No one wins. You know what? That would become a zero-sum game, which is exactly a no-no. No one wins. It can never be a zero-sum game. It has to be a win-win. These are basic things that people forget, disregard, don't pay attention to, and then they stuck in their lives and see, what have I done? And then it's too late because it becomes a bad habit. It's difficult to get out of a bad habit. You're stuck in it, and the cycle goes on.
You are experiencing a life-changing, powerful interview, and you are hearing it first from Arthur Robinson Jr.'s PowerfulInterviews.com.
Ziad, what is the difference between rich versus wealthy?
Funny you say that. Well, I'm going to give you a very simple example, okay, and then you'll understand.
Okay.
Rich is something you say, for example, like, let's go to the Bahamas, or let's go to a grand tour of the Mediterranean. That's rich. Wealthy is, let's go to the Bahamas or a grand tour of the Mediterranean now, anytime. You have wealthy people that control their time. The most important commodity is time. It's not money. Wealthy people control their time. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want. Rich people, they can do whatever they want, maybe, but not whenever they want because they have constraints. The difference is the time. Most important commodity is time. Look, let me tell you something. If you make a ton of money and you lose it, you can make it again. But if you lose time, you cannot make it again. Nobody can do it again. Not the rich, not the powerful, not the mightiest people in the world. Time is gone. You are one time 30 years old, one time 40 years old, one time 50 years old. You cannot buy time. You cannot turn back the clock. You cannot do that. That's it. So the wealthy control their time better.